Hey guys, this is Sh0tee here. Welcome to episode 2 of Sh0tee Talks Anime. In this episode, I have had the absolute privilege to watch a hidden gem of a movie. A movie so obscure that at the time of recording this, 21 people have literally scored this on my anime list. I always thought Junko Emperor Leo 2009 was the most underrated gem of a movie, but that had at least 400 scorers. That's 20 times more than this movie that I'm about to talk about today. This movie is known as Kuroi Ame Ni Utarete, otherwise translated as Struck by Black Rain. Just as a quick note, this review may contain minor spoilers. I'll try and limit the amount of spoilers I use, but to explain the story properly, I may need to use some minor spoilers, so just be warned before going on with this review. Struck by Black Rain started out as a manga series in 1966 created by Kenji Nakazawa, author of the more well-known series Hadashi no Gen. If you have an interest in anime movies, then you may have heard of this one. I've not seen it myself, however I do have it ready to watch. Nakazawa was himself a victim of the atomic bombings in Hiroshima, which bodes well with the story of the movie, which I'll explain later. Nakazawa's experiences with the atomic bombing and growing up facing discrimination and disabilities really helped to make Struck by Black Rain realistic, and the movie does a good job in showing that. The movie itself was produced in 1984 by newcomer studio Gen Productions. They did nothing before this and not much since to be honest. They produced a second Hadashi no Gen movie, and then they seemingly left the industry for some reason. Struck by Black Rain is about a group of Hiroshima survivors. They all grow up with the traumas that attack brought on them. They all deal with the loss of several family members and friends, and most tend to have disabilities directly caused by radiation exposure. For instance, the main female character, Aiko, cannot have children at all, due to children being risk for serious diseases such as cancer. However, she is already pregnant, and it does become a plot point to gain money to abort it. Another female, Tomoko, has to deal with physical scars on the left side of her body. Yet another female in this movie, Yuri, has to deal with her kid being blind and the fact that she only has a month to live. This movie does a great job in dealing with the emotional and physical aspects of these problems and how they choose to live with them. The scenes where these problems are really shown, and the flashbacks of the attack itself, have some really emotional scenes included in them. Particularly the part where the two main male characters, Takeshi and Shozo, are looking at people literally melting to death, and Shozo sings a very emotional song. If you watch this movie, you know the song I'm talking about. This movie, although I don't consider it anti-America, does paint a lot of Americans in bad light. They are seen as unremorseful for the attacks, and the Japanese, especially the people who lived through the attack, hate the Americans. The main source of hatred from the Americans in the movie comes from Takeshi, who resents the Americans every chance he gets, even not allowing him to visit the bar he works at. Yuri, also, has a pact to sleep with 1,000 Americans in order to disease them all before her time is up. The characters' hatred, though, due to the fact that the movie shows the full effect of what the main characters had to go through, are justified. The ending is also great in my opinion. A lot of bad stuff happens to several of the characters happening towards the end, which I will not spoil you guys. However, there is a good thing that comes out of this, which again I will not spoil, but it does show the good-heartedness of the characters in the story, and it also happens to be quite emotional. It also concludes from a message from Nakazawa about how nukes should never be used again. You guys gotta remember, this was first written in 1966. This was 3 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis. Nukes were a very serious risk back then. And also he explains why the world was stupid for using the nukes in the first place. The art style was pretty good for 1984. Not special, but there's not really a lot of bad things. Although granted, I haven't really seen a lot of anime from this time period, so I'm not exactly an expert on it, but there doesn't seem to be too much wrong, especially for a first-time production company. The biggest problem with this movie the biggest problem that this movie has is in the sound department. The music and the voice acting is good, great even. However, the mic quality is really fucking bad. Everyone sounds much louder than they should due to these mics, and it can get really distracting in the beginning, I will admit to that. However, I found I got used to it eventually, so it didn't become a huge problem. However, just be warned that this does have pretty bad mic problems. In conclusion, I highly recommend everyone go and check this movie out. It's only 1.5 hours long, and it really does hit you in the feels. Americans should be warned, however, movie does not really paint America in a good light. As everyone in the movie agrees the bomb should have never been dropped, and America remains a terrible country because of it. I'll give this movie a rating of 9 out of 10. Seemingly overrated, but honestly, this shows the full extent of emotions and visuals of what went on before and after the atomic bombings, and not shying away from anything, which really brings the emotional side up for me. I would not have any problems in saying this is the most underwatched piece of anime ever. There are now fan subs you can find on the internet, so it should be pretty easy to find. So in conclusion, go watch this movie. You know, hopefully you guys don't regret it because I love this movie, so yeah, go ahead and check it out. So thank you for watching this movie, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys for episode 77 to sit down with Sh0tee most likely tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then.